evening.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation. It's come up to 7 o'clock, and this is your program, Disability Inclusion. My name is Jennifer Ogo. And a very good evening to you. Good to have you on the other side of our speakers. The program is Disability Inclusion, coming to you live from the network service of Radio Nigeria. On Disability Inclusion, we talk about everything that has to do with persons with disabilities, including highlighting the challenges and opportunities, and of course, prefer the way forward. On today's program, our focus is addressing recruitment discrimination against persons with disabilities, the role of Bureau of Public Service reforms. The nature and extent of discrimination against persons with disabilities has led to massive unequal opportunity in employment. Stories abound of how qualified persons with disabilities are discriminated against on the basis of their challenges and subsequently denied employment in private sectors and at every level of the public sector. It is necessary to address the various forms of its manifestation and how citizens can work with relevant stakeholders to address current occurrences of employment discrimination and canvass for improvement. This will be our focus today on the program Disability Inclusion, and we have our guest for today's program, Mr. Dasuki Ibrahim Arabi, the Director General, Bureau of Public Service Reform. Good evening, sir. I'm glad to have you on the program today.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Thank you for having me. Good evening, Nigerians.
Well, as usual, you know this program is audience participatory. We are streaming live on our Twitter handle at TAF_NIG. And follow us on Facebook at the Albino Foundation, on Instagram at TAF_NIG, where you can get to watch us live. And our WhatsApp number is 0908-875-7496. I take those digits again, 0908-875-7496. So keep your messages coming. We'll be calling out the phone lines shortly. But before then, let's go on a quick break.
people and uniting the nation. Here to call a change, stand up, change is here, going to stay. Change begins with you. What happened to go? What you show us the change begins from within. Look like the guy, all your life. Change begins with you and me. Change begins with me. Change begins with by the National Orientation Agency in conjunction with the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture. Persons with albinism face various challenges in the society. Vision impairment due to the absence of pigmentation in the eye. Skin cancer usually occurs because of undue exposure to the sun. Unfortunately, some myths about albinism leads to discrimination and superstitious beliefs, results in low self-esteem. Let it be known that persons with albinism should not be discriminated against and should be given all the necessary support to enable them to perform optimally like every other person. Let us encourage parents to send their children with albinism to school. And yes, school authorities must permit them wear long sleeves, trousers, long skirts, white-rimmed hats, and sunglasses to protect them from harsh environmental conditions. Albinism is not a curse or a disease. It is just a condition. This message was brought to you by the Albino Foundation with support from the European Union delegation in Nigeria. The Albino Foundation, inclusive society for all. Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
Also, good to know you're with us on the program Disability Inclusion, coming to you live from the network service of Radio Nigeria. Today's edition is quite a peculiar one, especially for persons with disabilities. And we are talking about recruitment discrimination as it concerns persons with disabilities. Now, the role of the Bureau of Public Service Reforms. And we have the Director General of the Bureau of Public Service Reform as our guest for today's program, Mr. Dasuki Ibrahim Arabi. Yes, the WhatsApp number is 0908 875 7496. So keep your questions coming, keep your contributions coming, and we'll read them when it's time. And we'll call out the phone line when it's definitely time. But before then, we have some news updates for you, so stay tuned.
Students with visual disabilities from 7 schools gathered at the Apostolic Church, Park Grove, Lagos on Thursday, October 6, 2022 to participate in the annual Bible quiz organized by the Bible Society of Nigeria. The Bible quiz, which will be chaired by founder of Rainbow Foundation, Mrs. Kalango Koko, is designed to provide a platform for people with visual impairment to engage with the Word of God. The winner of the competition will go home with a cash prize of 100,000 naira. The first runner-up will get 75,000 naira, while the second runner-up will get 50,000 naira. In a release by the Bible Society of Nigeria, Media and Public Relations, Benjamin Modi, 2 students will represent each of the participating schools in the 4th edition of the Bible quiz. Batista Home for the Blind, Bushin, Nigeria Fancraft Center for the Blind, Vocational School for the Blind, Oshodi, King's College, Obalende, Lagos State Senior Model College, Agbowa Ikosi, Lagos State Junior Model College, Agbowa Ikosi, and Federal Government College, Ijaniki, all in Lagos. Apart from organizing the Bible quiz, Mr. Modi said the Bible Society of Nigeria also provides Braille Bible, which costs 50,000 naira, free of charge to any person with visual disabilities who can use it. A disability rights activist, Jerry Grace, says she expects people with disabilities to make the Independent National Electoral Commissioner, INEC, Resident Electoral Commissioner, REX, nominees. She said these in Abuja during the Citizens Election Dialogue on the theme, What Makes the integrity of those who have been is all exclusive of the most group. Now, we are promoting an all-inclusive election. We are promoting an all-inclusive society. But where there is a huge gap, and these marginalized groups are relegated to the background. A physically challenged core member, where Peter, who is serving in Makodi, Benue State, is changing the narrative and writing history while obeying the clarion call. Peter, who is serving with INEC, is carrying out a community development service project aimed at improving access to public buildings for persons with disabilities in Benue State and to provide mobility aid for the vulnerable ones. He has constructed ramps, wheelchair walkways at 3 ministries in Makodi, an obstacle that serves as a barrier for the functionality of persons with disabilities. He has 50 recycled wheelchairs to donate to the needy and other physically challenged persons. A trending video of 3 talented physically challenged boys showing off their dance moves has impressed citizens on TikTok despite their disability. The young talented boys dance energetically and their video quickly went viral. Social media users have showered accolades on the talented dancers for not letting their disability stop their happiness. People with Disability Initiative, PDI, a non-governmental organization, has called for training of caregivers in sign interpretation to enhance maternal and child health care services in Bauchi State. The coordinator of the group, Hajia Asmau Yahaya, made the call in an interview with the News Agency of Nigeria in Bauchi on Monday. She said the measure was towards improving uptake of maternal and child healthcare services among people with disabilities in the state. To encourage hospital delivery among physically challenged persons, caregivers should be allowed into delivery suites with their patients. Communication using English Sign Language is a bit difficult, but with the aid of caregivers, I believe communication and uptake of other maternal and child services will be improved, she said. Governor Aminu Masari of Katsina State presented mobility cards to 100 physically challenged persons across the state. The governor also donated some basic materials and health supplies to healthcare centers across the state in commemoration of Nigeria's 62nd independence anniversary. The governor called on the beneficiaries not to sell the mobility cards but use them judiciously. However, challenged wealthy individuals in the state to assist orphans and less privileged persons to change them for better. I am Jemima.
Well, many thanks, Jemima Paul, for bringing us those informative messages. And to you out there, this program is called Disability Inclusion, where we talk about everything disability. And our slogan is nothing about us without us. We get to talk about everything that has to do with persons with disabilities, including their challenges, opportunity, and prepare the way forward. My name is Jennifer Owoyo, host on the program, and we still have the Director General of Bureau of Public Service Reform sitting right beside me, ready to have him on our interview segment. Once again, welcome, sir. I'm good to have you on the program today.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having us.
Okay, so let's release the arrow straight into the red eye. What can be categorized as discrimination in recruitment exercises?
Well, thank you very much. I don't know what is discrimination because I have not passed through it. And I have been hearing people saying discrimination, and they say that they've not been given the right place they belong to. They've not been given the right table and chair to use. They've not been even given the space to be employed. as a citizen of the country, just the way other persons that are fully boarded, given that privilege. Now, if that is what we mean, and if it happens anywhere, it is sad and unfortunate. And because I hate to hear that word, I don't know what it is.
All right. Now, what has the Bureau put in place to ensure full compliance with the employment provisions for persons with disabilities in the 2018 Disability Act?
Well, thank you very much. Before I do that, let me just talk briefly about the Bureau. We are an agency of government set up in 2004 to initiate reforms, to monitor reforms, to implement reforms, and to do what we call monitoring and evaluation of all reform initiatives of federal government of Nigeria. So we don't implement policies, but we make sure that policies of government are fully implemented. And where they are not happening, we ask questions why they are not here. That makes our presence here relevant. And over the years, we have done quite a lot of things to open government, to engage with the citizens, to make sure that whatever government says it's doing or is directing ministries, departments, and agencies of government to do, it's being done in conformity with the laws of government, asking us to do that. You recall that the president had signed the act that became a law that says persons of disability or persons living with disability, number one, a special agency or commission was created for them. In line with that, a lot of privileges and opportunities have been opened for persons with disability to be employed by government ministries, departments, and agencies of government. Special preferences be given to them during the process of recruitment, directing that we must make our office space comfortable for them. That means ramps must be provided in all entrances, lifts must be provided where ramps will not be applicable, toilets must be made suited for them to utilize, just the way we have in other countries. This is what the government has said should happen, and this is what has been happening in quite a number of ministries, departments, and agencies of government.
All right. In the course of this program, we usually have calls, we entertain calls where the caller might be saying that, okay, there is no employment whatsoever, probably for himself or herself, or they complain, some form of discrimination or the other in a recruitment process. Do you have a platform where persons with disabilities get to interact with the organization?
Well, thank you. If that is happening, it's quite unfortunate. But what we do in the first place is we have created avenues of discussion and engagement between us and citizens. On the website of our agency, www.bpsr.gov.ng, we have a portal that we call Freedom of Information portal, where we expect citizens to ask us questions, to report on what has happened or what has been done to them in any agency of government, and we're empowered to check off this and pursue the case and make sure that justice is meant to them. That is one. Secondly, we have other online chats and active email addresses that they can always click on, send the reports to us, and I'm assuring them and you and all the listeners that our agency will follow that up. Now, beyond that, we have created forums where we engage with citizens to provide information on activities of government. The essence of that is to, one, make heads of agencies to present their scorecards to citizens, open government, and give citizens the opportunity to interact with government, ask questions, and demand for rights, just in relation to what you have said.
All right, the platform is now open for you to make your contribution and ask any question whatsoever. Remember, we have the Director General of Bureau of Public Service Reforms. The number to call is 0915 091 0482, 0915 091 0482 or 0705 149 3324. 0705 149 3324, or send a WhatsApp message to this number 0908 875 7496. 0908 875 7496. We are talking about recruitment discrimination against persons with disabilities, the role of Bureau of Public Service Reform. Now, in the Bureau's assessment, what has been the level of compliance within the public service sector?
Well, the most important thing is a commission or an agency has been created.
Okay.
A director general has been appointed, who is the person living with a disability. A board has been constituted. Spaces that need to be occupied by workers have been filled. That is compliance number one. Number two, the public service rule that is just been amended has given special consideration to persons with disability, saying that in terms of recruitment at any agency, ministry, or department of government, special attention must be given to persons with disability. And under no circumstances should they be denied access to employment because of their challenges. And the Federal Civil Service Commission has been empowered to, whenever they are recruited, to make special space for persons with disability to be recruited. So for quite some time, the Federal Civil Service Commission has not been employed since that law came into effect. But we're hoping that when they start, that compliance will be in place.
So, in cases of non-compliance now, what can the Bureau do to ensure full?
What the first thing we'll do is we'll take it up with the head of the agency, working with the central agencies responsible for appointment, promotion, discipline in the Federal Public Service, which are the Federal Civil Service Commission, the head of civil service of the Federation, and the secretary to the government of the Federation. And you know, by my discussion when we started, we said we have the powers to ensure that agencies of government comply with the rules and regulations, especially as it relates to persons with disability.
All right, 0915 091 0482 or 0705 149 3324, 0705 149 3324. Send a WhatsApp message to 0908 875 7496, 0908 875 7496. Now, I would want to get into the mind of a person with disability, for instance, because they call in sometimes and ask questions like, how do we apply for a job? What's the criteria? What's the step? Someone who wants to get into the public service, what should a person with disability do?
Well, thank you. Public service is wide. For the purpose of this discussion, I will explain that we have three legs in the public service. We have the core civil service, which is made up of the public civil servants that work in ministries that are responsible for formulating policies and getting the machinery of government working. The other leg is public service. Public service is consisting of the president, the vice president, the senate president, everybody, every person that is on the payroll of federal government of Nigeria is a public servant. But not all public servants are civil servants. Now, for appointment or recruitment into the federal civil service, that falls solely on the Federal Civil Service Commission. And they are being supported by the head of service and the office of the secretary to the government of the federation. While the agencies of government, that is the larger public service, have their own laws establishing them, and they have under the laws processes of recruitment, appointment, and promotion in the agency. Now, if you take Nigeria Army, theirs is different from the Nigeria Police Force. Nigeria Police Force is different from Nigeria Army. Nigeria Army is different from Civil Defense. Civil defense is different from Central Bank of Nigeria. Central Bank of Nigeria is different from National Human Rights Commission. While if you check the core civil service, a pooling agency like the Federal Civil Service Commission is responsible for that. And the process is they make advertisements, forms are collected by intended applicants, you complete the forms, you submit to the office, and then you'll be invited for interview, for written test, then you'll be considered. While in other agencies of government in the wider public services is quite different. Now, in the main service, because of the introduction of performance management in the public service and the e-government master plan of the federal government of Nigeria, which this agency, Bureau of Public Service Reforms, is part of the agencies responsible for implementing that. We're hoping that by January 2023, most of these things will be done electronically, giving space for wider number of Nigerians to participate and give it a hit.
Okay, now do you have a data that contains a data that consists of the positions now in the public service that have been occupied by persons with disabilities?
No, we don't have that, but we'll take this opportunity working with the CSOs that are working with us to obtain this data and see how we can work with them. But we have a forum and our engagement with the civil society, where we have CSOs operating in different sectors of the society that are members of that forum. And we have persons with disability as members of that forum that are working with us, and we're working on them on quite a number of initiatives beyond employment and public service.
Nice. All right, 0915 091 0482 or 0705 149 3324. The WhatsApp number is 0908 875 7496. 0908 875 7496. Now, sorry, Mr. Arabi.
Yes.
The transitory period of NDAs to make their buildings accessible expires next year.
Yes.
Based on the Disability Act.
Yes.
And many MDAs have not been compliant. What has the Bureau done to foster this compliance?
Honestly, we are not aware that quite a number of them had not done that until when we received this invitation for this program. And I tried on my own to check and see what is happening and what has happened. And we will not allow ministries to fall victims of the law. So what we're trying to do is to embark on an advocacy project or program to visit all those agencies that have not complied and make sure that they comply to the rules. In the complex where I'm staying, the head of service complex, we have complied. 99% rounds have been provided and the lifts are working. I am personally an advocate of providing support for persons with disability. One of the things I want to do when I retire is to create an association to support persons suffering from what we call muscular dystrophy, that makes them almost unable to use their hands, not only their legs. So I'm an advocate of that, and I'm trying as much as we can to push that to us. But it will be.
Sorry to put some kind of caller. Hello, good evening. John Bosco. Thanks for calling us.
I have a question for the organ. A case where a person is qualified for a job, but they narrow it down to a particular set of persons with disabilities. Maybe they say they don't want a wheelchair user in this organization, but they are qualified to pick up that job in the organization for that particular person. or they narrow it down to a particular person with disability. They don't want the hearing impaired or the hearing impaired. What would the organization do for that? We do agree to take a person with a physically challenged, but they stereotype it to one group of cross country. In that case, what can they have in common?
Well, if you have any case like that, please report that to us. And if we have the report, we'll take it up with the agency responsible for that, and we'll make sure that justice is done to that applicant. In any case, the law is quite clear around that. We should not discriminate. We should not deny them that opportunity because of the condition they have found themselves. And somebody said in one program that 99% of persons in the world are physically challenged. Only that some can be seen, some have reported it themselves, but whether we report or we don't report, at a certain stage of our lives, we'll report ourselves.
Indeed. All right, you've heard it straight from the horse's mouth, the Director General of Bureau of Public Service Reforms, Mr. Dasuki Ibrahim Arabi. So we're going to another quick break now, but before then, let me call out the phone lines once again: 0915 091 0482 or 0705 149 3324. Perhaps you're trying to get through to us because we have a lot of people trying to call in. You can just send a WhatsApp message and we'll read it out, in the program. 0908 875 7496. 0908 875 7496. The program is still Disability Inclusion, coming to you live from the network service of Radio Nigeria. My name is still Jennifer Obo. Just stay with us.
Radio Nigeria, lifting the people and uniting the nation.
Disability Inclusion Campaign envision an inclusive society for all. Persons with disability must be mainstreamed in all spheres of our society. I am Jake Ebele, Chief Executive Officer and Founder, the Albino Foundation, and I approve this message.
Every victor has a story. Every nighttime has a day. We all have days of glory. We all have our days of shame. Every lifetime has a name. Heroes rise and heroes fall. Rather be falling. Be afraid to rise at all. Here's to a new beginning, and here's to a glorious end. Strive for a better tomorrow. It go wrong, it go right. Celebrate your life, because there's something good about where you are right now. We all.
All right, there is something about where you are right now. Make that change from that little space and see a world where we kick against any form of segregation or discrimination whatsoever. Yes, so you and I have a role to play. The program is Disability Inclusion on the network service of Radio Nigeria. Songs titled New Beginning by Kubans Asuko. I bet you enjoyed that beautiful message song by Kubans. Now we are talking about recruitment discrimination against persons with disabilities, the role of the Bureau of Public Service Reform. So this is an opportunity where you get to ask any question because we have the Director General of Bureau of Public Service Reform, Mr. Dasuki Ibrahim. So keep your comments coming on our WhatsApp platform. The number is 0908 875 7496. or call the number 0915 or call this other number 0705 Now, for your information, we'll be having a very short interview with the chosen vessel Global Outreach. The president and founder is standing by for a very short interview. Okay, we have a call on the program. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. We can hear you loud and clear. Yeah, may we know who we're speaking with and where you're calling us from? Sorry, your name is, we didn't get your name. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Welcome.
Please, we are so sorry. We're having a lot of interruption from this call. Can you just send the message? Just ask your question. Send it on WhatsApp. We'll read it out. Hello. Your reception is not clear, and we really like to have you. Hello. Please call us back 0915 Please, we want to hear from you. If you're unable to get through to us via the telephone, we still have about 20 minutes, before we call this program a wrap. So send a message to 0908 87574 on WhatsApp, 0908 875 7498. The program is still Disability Inclusion on the network service of Radio Nigeria. Now, Mr. Dasuki, how can stakeholders work together to ensure full implementation of the employment provisions in the 2018 Disability Act within the public service sector? I know you've given us some highlights, but can you shed more light on this?
Well, that is a very interesting field for us as an agency of government. Beyond the Disability Act, there is this freedom of information law in the country. And we have over the years noticed quite little or no number of questions or engagements coming. So on our part, what we are trying to do is to sensitize Nigerians to know that this law is existing and the provisions made under the law so that they know. So we're improving on our engagement with the civil society groups, focusing on persons with disability to make them understand that this law is there and there are provisions made to take care of them. We have formed a special link of engagement with the Disability Commission and the agency to see how we can expand the space for people to know that yes, the agency is existing, we're existing, and we have special laws meant for them. On their part too, we want them to CSOs and persons with physical challenges, disabilities, to engage with government, to know what we have in place for them, and where we are not doing what we are supposed to be doing, they should knock on us. And we're trying to. We have a mandate and a directive by the president to make sure that all ministries, departments, and agencies collaborate to attack various issues and problems that we have. And in the words of the president, when we collaborate, we provide cheaper, more efficient, and more convenient service to the citizens of the country. So there are ministries responsible for that. There are agencies responsible for that. Our role is to bring them together to make sure that we guide them or we guide ourselves to serve the interests of these important citizens of the country.
0915-092-0705-149-3324. Now, one of the tools used in measuring quality of service or key performance indicator is through quality of service, and that's one of the role of the Bureau of Public Service. What can you say about the provision of assistive devices in public offices? Because I'm not going to work if you don't give me an instrument or an equipment to work with. especially as it concerns persons with disabilities, because they need this to perform their roles in their various offices. So, what can you say about the provision of assistive devices in the public service?
Well, in the public service, the wider public service, we have seen some good moves in the parastatals or agencies of government, Securities of and Exchange Commission, Central Bank, NDIC. Most of these parastatals have provided that. In the main ministries, we have not seen that happening. And as I said from the beginning, we are advocates of good service delivery. We are advocates and police of government to ensure that there is total compliance with policies of government. And looking at the statistics of the persons with disability in Nigeria is quite high. Our failure as ministry, department, or agency to provide what they need to work, I think will be a very big sin. And I wouldn't like to be a party to that at any stage in my life.
Okay. 0705-149-3324 or 0915-091-0482 or send a WhatsApp message to 0908-875-7496 0908-875-7496. We are talking about recruitment discrimination against persons with disabilities, the role of the Bureau of Public Service Reforms. You can send in your contributions, you can send in your comments, you can ask your questions, and let's banter on the role of the government. Let the government get to meet the citizens, including their complaints and what they need to do to improve public service. We have the Director General as our guest on the program today. So call the number once again, 0705-149-3324 or 0915-091-0482. Take a minute from here. When we get back, we will be having a short message now. A short interview, I beg your pardon, from Chosen Vessel Global Outreach. The founder of the outreach is standing by and we'll be having her shortly. Do stay with us.
Uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
Okay, you share the microphone. Share the microphone with her. So take the lead.
Himself?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
You share the
Sorry, your
microphone.
name is that George. How are you? Welcome. Thank you. This recidivism. Recidivism. Alright, this is program Disability Inclusion on the network service of Radio Nigeria, where we talk about everything that has to do with persons with disabilities, including their challenges, opportunities, and solution. Yes, the phone lines are still open for you to call, and the WhatsApp is there for you to send your messages. The WhatsApp number is 0908-875-7496. While we have made, I await your messages on phone calls. Let's get to meet the founder of Chosen Vessels Global Outreach. Good evening, ma'am, and good to have you on the program today.
Good evening. Thank you very much.
Yes, can't wait to hear what you have in store for us. Now, there is a one-day summit of rehabilitation and social reintegration and prevention of recidivism. So can you tell us about it?
Yes, I'm glad to be here. But first of all, I want to appreciate the Albino Foundation and the Disability Inclusive and Dr. Jake Pele for this free airtime and opportunity to talk about this summit. It is a one-day stakeholder summit that is going to be coming up on October 13th. It is to talk about rehabilitation, reintegration, and prevention of recidivism. We are coming from a different angle of rehabilitation because when rehabilitation has been talked about, most people think about only people that have drug issues. And it's interesting that we're talking about disability inclusion here because a lot of people are disabled in their own different ways, and most people don't talk about it. There are people who have been disabled because they've been incarcerated for so long. There are people who are drug addicted. There are people who have girls have ended up in the street with lifestyles that they need rehabilitation for. And we think that this is time that we come together to rub minds on how to end the reoccurrences, them going back to the same lifestyle that have not yielded any great result.
Okay, so what can you say about speaking the truth? There are some individuals that might be ashamed to actually talk about their problem. So how can they reach out to you? Probably just behind the stage, like maybe before then, do you have a platform where they can call or send a message?
We do have a phone line that they can call. And do you want me to give the phone line?
Of course.
Yes, and that phone line is 0703 651 6429. And they can call at any time, and we can be able to speak with them. Disability is not anything that we should be ashamed of. We are challenged in different ways, but the first thing is creating awareness and letting people know that they can get help, and that's the way forward. This is the first step in this journey to many steps. And on that very day, we're going to also be unveiling a city of hope and healing, which we plan to have a place where we're building relationship with different organizations to set up sites and offices and buildings and with equipment and professionals that can help these individuals to find their path back.
All right, please, can you call the number again?
The number, once again, that they can call is 0803651
Go ahead.
2964.
All right, a one-day summit about rehabilitation and social reintegration and prevention of recidivism. Yes, from the Chosen Vessel Global Outreach. Now, what prompted you to actually come up with this idea?
Actually, I worked with Los Angeles County Sheriff Department for the past 22 years, and the sheriff at the time thought that it would be best to have a way to end recidivism because there are people that keep going through the doors, and it costs the state and the government money to keep them, and also it becomes a challenge also to the community. When people keep going in and out, it affects employment, it affects the growth of the city or wherever, the state. So it's best to help these people to find their path back into the community and to deal with, the stigmatization that comes with being incarcerated. They also introduced education-based incarceration. These are all the things that we're looking into doing, but this is just an initiative to have everyone that is well-meaning in Nigeria come and let's find the path.
Okay, can you tell us the date and the venue?
The date is October 13th is Wednesday, 11 a.m. at FCT Exhibition Pavilion. That is beside the Radio House.
Yes.
And beside ICC.
Yes. So thank you so much. We sincerely appreciate your initiative for coming up with something like this. Thank you so much. Yes, looking forward to attending the event. Thank you. All right, the program is still Disability Inclusion and the network service of Radio Nigeria. And I think this is the time where we get to wrap up with our guests. Let's ask you two more questions. I don't think you're leaving anytime soon. But the phone number to call is 0915 782 0915 091 0482 or 0703 651 2964. Now, Mr. Dasuki, what roles are citizens expected to play in their capacity to ensure sustainable reforms within the public service space?
Fantastic. We want them to work with us as Bureau of Public Service Reforms. We want them to key into the various initiatives that we have come up with to work with the civil society groups. We have created a forum of engagement. We have produced a platform, a structure of how they can engage with us to make sure that our reform initiatives are implemented and they benefit the citizens of this country. We want them to participate in policy making process of government. We have opened the space for production of budget reviews, budget assessments at various levels. There's when you look at budget, there's a special day, a special forum where CSOs are given the space to work, to go through the budget and make sure that what is appropriate, what is released, is utilized properly and there is value for money. Unless we engage with us, that is the state and non-state actors, we may not be able to succeed in doing what we are doing. And we want everybody that is on the other side to be
go ahead.
To be an advocate of reforms, to work with us, to make sure that we turn the fortunes of this country. We have a strategy that we have produced that we call the National Strategy on Public Service Reforms. And we want Nigerian public service to be among the first 20 public services in the world by the year 2025.
Thank you so much, and we definitely look forward to that. We sincerely appreciate you for honoring our invitation. It's been so good having you on the program today, sir.
Thank you very much. How time moves very fast.
Yes, of course.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so
and
much.
we want to use this forum to engage non-state actors to engage with us, work with Bureau of Public Service Reforms, and our doors are always open for engagements and for guidance on what we need to do better to uplift the life of the common man on the street.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Can't thank you enough. All right, we have about 5 minutes to do whatever we're doing before we call this program a wrap. But I just got this message now from an anonymous person because your name and your location is not here. I'm going to read your message anyway. So as a person with disability, I want to continue with my tertiary education to avoid street begging, but lack of support want to kill my dream. What is government doing to support the education of persons with disabilities? So can you just answer that question in less than 30 seconds because you don't have enough time?
Well, the federal government has a special consideration for funding education for persons with disabilities. But when you look at the federal, we have just about 1 million or 2 million people related to federal. We have about 210 million in the states. So we use this opportunity to call on state governments and local governments to provide all the necessary support that persons with disabilities need to go to school. When we get them educated, we reduce their burden, on the society, and we get that special gift that God has placed on them out of their heads.
Well said. All right, the program is still Disability Inclusion on the network service of Radio Nigeria. And we like to come up with some myths and facts about persons with disabilities. Now, we come up with these myths because they might just be very prominent, especially to people who do not know anything about disability or persons with disabilities. And we like to counter these myths with some facts. So I have George and my Dominic standing by, just sitting right beside me. Good to have you, Dominic, and I can see you're doing well.
Thank you. Good to have you too.
All right, let's go straight to it. People with autism don't feel love. Is that true?
That's not true at all, Jennifer. Believe it or not, one of the most googled questions about autism is, can someone with autism love? Of course, they can. People with autism can feel the full range of emotions, including love and affection. Sometimes they can even be more pronounced than usual. However, this myth may come from the fact that some people with autism can find it a bit hard to express these emotions and share what they are feeling.
So rumor has it that cerebral palsy only occurs at birth. How true is it?
The fact is, it is true that cerebral palsy usually happens when a baby is in utero or being born, but it's also very possible to develop the disability at any time. For 10% of people with cerebral palsy, they develop their disability later in life due to other causes such as infection, stroke, or severe injury.
All right. Someone actually told me some time ago that he saw a person on a wheelchair and just concluded that the person cannot walk. How factual is this statement?
That's not true.
Okay.
The fact is, not all people need to use their wheelchair at all times. So there is no need to be shocked or accuse someone of faking it when they stand up. The fact is, there are many reasons someone may only sometimes use a wheelchair. It could be that someone has multiple sclerosis, for example, and some days they may choose to walk, but on their bad days, they may choose to use their wheelchair.
All right. Now, our guests earlier in the program actually said there are some form of disabilities that cannot be seen, something like depression. Depression, is it just a case of having the blues? Like, what's the concept of what's depression?
No, it's not just the case of having the blues.
Okay.
Everyone feels sad at times, but depression is much more serious. People often feel sad because of a certain experience or memory, but it comes and goes. Depression, on the other hand, is a chronic illness.
All right.
When you have depression, you don't necessarily even feel sad. You may feel irritable, tense, empty, or simply numb. Depression can also cause many other symptoms such as sleep issues, poor concentration, lethargy, and loss of appetite.
All right, thank you so much, George. You really enlightened us today. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And as we begin to wind down, we look at the star of the week, and the star of the week is Kubans Asukwo. We've had his music back to back in the course of this program, Disability Inclusion. It might interest you to know that Kubans Asukwo is actually visually impaired, a person with disability, and he's one of my favorite producers. He sings so well, and I sincerely appreciate him, and he is our star of the week. Thank you so much for listening to us. The program is Disability Inclusion, the network service of Radio Nigeria, which comes your way every Saturday at 7 p.m. West African time. Yes. So our social media handles on Facebook is at the Albino Foundation. On Instagram is at @taf_NIG, and on Twitter as well. We've got to stream live there, so you can definitely watch us live. Yes, on Twitter. Thank you so much to our guests and to all those who call in. We say many thanks to our studio manager Tijani Abdul. I'm thanking you so much. This program is powered by the European Union and the Albino Foundation. A special thanks to our producer, Mr. Stephen Isabo. Until next time, my name is Jennifer Obo. Hopefully, we'll have Lean next week for our next edition. All right, before then, have a splendid weekend. I'm back for now.
Outside class.
You need a face. She wants to leave me alone. She's supposed to join me.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Why didn't you discuss muscular dystrophy? Have you come across it?
Yes, I have.
You have.
A couple of cases, yes.
It's
really like cannibals lift
they can't do anything.
everything.
That's
They
one
might
of the
just
things
fall.
I would like to do.
One of these days we need to, because a lot of people don't know about this.
Yeah.
I want to come on that program when you want to.
Okay, so yeah, please.
Actually, I'm planning when I exit government. That is.
Focus on that.
Yes, that's what I want to do.
That's interesting.
I've already been following them in UK, Muscular Dystrophy Association, and MBA in the United States. And in Nigeria, when it happens, people say, this one.
You can play your bridge.
Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
So,
you very much.
where,
Although we had one thing to play.
okay.
The sound we. But since you are
Then why did you allow the thing to finish so quick?
sorry, that's after that. When you have